and welcome to this session focused on how you can amplify your pro developer skills with the Power Platform. My name is Jolie Strauss. I'm a PM director on the Power Platform, where my team is focused on driving the pro developer as well as admin experiences across the entire Power Platform. So Power Platform, as many of you hopefully know, consists on these four key components. We have Power BI for visualizations and business analytics. We have Power Apps, which is really focused on the application building process. That is where a lot of focus is going to be on today. And then we have Power Automate, which is really about workflow, UI, business process automation. Very often when I talk about Power Apps, I also kind of talk about Power Automate because in many of the scenarios work kind of very, very seamlessly together. And today we'll be covering both of these. And then there's Power Virtual Agent, which is a new kid on the block for building bots on the Power Platform. We also have three other supporting services. First, we have the Common Data Service, which is really kind of the back end of the Power Platform. So think of it in two ways. It is the data storage for the Power Platform. So if you are storing data natively in the Power Platform, you're really storing that in the Common Data Service. But there's more than just a database storage. It is also hosting all the business logic that we provide out of the box because of this low-code, no-code platform, such as security and some business logic. We'll walk through that in a little bit. We also have a very rich framework for data connectors. This is we have, I think, about 370 something connectors right now that come out of the box, which if you're not necessarily storing the data or building an app on top of the Power Platform or the Common Data Service, you can call different connectors to extend your application further. And you can also build custom connectors, which we will be covering today. And finally, we have AI Builder for taking machine learning and AI and very elevating that into these low-code, no-code applications in a very seamless manner. So with that, I wanted to glimpse a little bit into the growth we have had on the platform, and you'll see the reason in a minute. So obviously the platform has seen a tremendous growth. So it's like the fifth year in a row with triple-digit usage growth. And we also, you can see here that 97% of the Fortune 500 is actually using the Power Platform. So we have more than 3 million active developers on the platform, but more importantly, we have thousands of enterprises with thousands of makers that are sharing thousands of applications and flows. So the volume and the explosion of apps created with the Power Platform has just been really phenomenal. And even looking at some of the predictions going outwards, it is more than just the growth we've had. This actually seemed to be continuing. So you can see here as a quote from Satya saying that 500 million new apps will be built in the next 5 years. And that's more than all apps built together in the last 40 years. We are looking at a quote here from Gartner saying that 65% of all enterprise application deployments by 2024 will be low code. So in summary, all of this pressure, looking at the growth we have had, there's just no doubt about it. There is not enough developers on the planet to kind of take upon that task for all these applications that needs to be built. So that is where low code come in, because when you introduce a low code platform, you really have the opportunity to embrace a much larger ecosystem of developers. And if you look at the platform of kind of where we've grown from, we have very much been focused on the citizen developers, very organic growth. But with that growth we have had, there has been a very natural growth as well to the entire platform. And we are now very, very focused on kind of all three personas of the platform. So when talking about the Power Platform, we want to stress that it is really for every developer. So focus today is obviously going to be on the pro developers, but also the IT professionals, like the Chief Information Security Officer and governance. We have a lot of investments there. And then obviously the pro developer. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we ask every developer to use build, drag and drop UI? No, absolutely not. We are making sure that we are offering the right tool to the right task. And as a developer, you can kind of choose what you want to do. You can drag and drop and create easy UI, but you can also use professional developer tooling like Visual Studio and VS Code. Also, if you're an Azure developer and want to build out your own data services and build UI on top of that, we have tooling and experiences for that as well. So key for us is really, don't think that low code, no code means you must all be using that kind of tooling. We have professional tooling to kind of allow you to accelerate your own journey in whatever tool you like. So if we take these personas and kind of the full stack, looking at one Microsoft, you can really see the different layers here. So I encourage you to think of the full Microsoft stack when you think the Power Platform, because they have very rich extensibility model that taps into these other ecosystems and capabilities. So at the top, obviously, the Power Platform using low code, no code. But then we have also the Azure services in the middle, and we'll be focusing a lot here. There's a lot of business logic that customers are building using Azure Functions, building APIs and registering with API management, using cognitive services and bucket services, and then elevating that into the Power Platform. And then obviously all the data services underneath as well, which can either be used to obviously store data, build UI on top, or even just call functions. So that is the full and obviously tightly integrated with GitHub as well, and integration into Visual Studio and VS Code. So looking at the focus today, we are streamlining that whole picture a little bit. We're going to be focusing on two things, essentially. And it is about connecting the pro developer with the citizen developer. And sometimes as a developer, you do the full flow. You start in with code first, and you might build a no-code application on top of that. And sometimes you do collaborate and say, I built my professional Lego blocks using my tooling, but then I want to expose it to a citizen developer. And the two scenarios where we see a lot of these fusion teams, so professional developers and citizen developers come together in a team, fusion teams, we see that along two scenarios. The custom controls, like either I want to quickly build a UI on top of a function or a legacy system, or I'm a citizen developer and I ran out of steam. So I need a specific component that doesn't come out of the box. The same with connectors. I might have a legacy system where we don't provide out of the box connectors, where you can ask help as a citizen developer from the pro developer to help me extend into that scenario. So that's really going to be the focus. So that is really covering the two top buckets here. So we'll go much deeper into there. So one is about unicorns and rainbow, build whatever UI you want. And the other one is really about building custom logic in Azure. But I want to highlight the two other scenarios underneath as well, because they're super important in terms of how you think about the platform. One is kind of what are the new scenarios you can think about as a pro developer that you can leverage as part of Power Platform. And one very clear one is common data service. As I said before, it is the data storage, but it has common schema, it has business logic. So let's say you're going to build an app that needs, for example, schema or tables like an account or an opportunity or a lead. Why go build out your schema from scratch? It is available out of the box with the Power Platform. You have other functionalities like native AD integration. You have RBAC support out of the box. You have data loss prevention and policies you can set up. All that kind of work that you otherwise would have to go build from scratch, you just get out of the box with the common data service. So you can choose either use our UI or build your own UI on top. But think about the building blocks you can leverage. Or if you want to do AI and you're not really a data scientist, there is AI capabilities and mixed reality capabilities that you do get out of the box with the Power Platform as well. Lastly, we think about app modernization. Think about you have maybe thousands of apps in your enterprise. You might pick 3 strategic apps where you want to use your pro developers to go build from scratch. You might have thousands of business processes that you can't afford to have your pro dev team work on. Find ways where you can empower your business developers and your business citizen developers to go and build out those applications. And the key to that is really this notion of fusion teams. Find a way to collaborate, find a way as a pro developer to bring that power to your citizen developers. So with that, we are ready to dive into the first scenario, which is around building custom UI. So custom controls, while you're building them, you can easily go and build apps without ever needing to build custom controls. But what we do see, and we see it a lot when customers talk about low code, it's like you meet a cliff, you build your application, your citizen developer built it, they ran out of steam, they hand it over to their pro developer team, and they start from scratch. Not with a Power Platform. Here you can say, look, I like the app that I built, but I want this special component that doesn't come out of the box. No problem. You can build your own custom control as a pro developer, and it acts as any native component and control on the platform. So you publish it back into a solution, and a user will be able to just discover it and use it. So what it means is, as you might grow out of steam with our out-of-the-box controls, you have full range of flexibility to go and build your own. So it's a very, very efficient way of ensuring you can leverage what has already been built without running into a cliff. And the way you do it, you can really look at it as you are having TypeScript controls that you can create, and you can use Visual Studio or VS Code. We have a CLI that you can use as well. And the key here is you might start to build custom controls from scratch. But what is more important, we have great integration with common frameworks like React. So you might already have a library of components that might be key to your organizational branding or just the way that different users are used to using your applications. You can take these React controls, pull them into the CLI, and you can actually start pushing them into solutions and use them immediately as part of the Power Platform and Power Apps. So if you're looking at the whole development cycle for building custom controls, you'll start in VS Code, you'll build out your control, you can do test and validation in the CLI. We also have like a live debugging capabilities available right there. And obviously we have support for source control, so you push it all to Git, so you have a fully automated process. And then you can choose to deploy either into a different environment or different environments where citizen developers can use them, or you might choose to use them yourself. So here are some examples of out-of-the-box components, and some will say, look, they're too limiting for me, but you can build whatever you want out to break out of that box. And here we have some examples that I borrowed from a partner of ours, where they've built very dedicated, like you can see, own process flows that looks very differently. There's key branding there, as well as some Gantt charts, which we do not deliver out of that box. The partner is simple. They are an ISV that has optimized for developing marketing operation solutions built on the Power Platform. So they use Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI. And the key for them to using custom components was really branding was one thing. They didn't want it to look like Dynamics or Power Platform, but you see they have their own very fabulous branding that surfaces. So it doesn't look like necessarily a Dynamics app, but it really is. And key for them, another part of these components was really to simplify, because the marketing and comms users are not really opting in for complexity. So the simpler, the better. And that was something they were able to very easily achieve, building their own custom controls to really streamline that user experience. So very cool looking controls. So with that, we have covered custom UX. Let's go ahead and take a look at custom code for how you can build and host custom logic in Azure. Now we have plugins and code components as part of the Power Platform as well, where you can build logic as well. We are here talking to the Azure extensibility model because we have made a lot of investments here, and we know many of you already have invested in Azure. So how can you take some of the work you have already done and leverage that by kind of amplifying that, sharing it with your citizen developers. So we're thinking about hosting logic in Azure. It's a little bit more than that as well. It can be simply creating custom connectors. It can be to services in Azure, but it can also be APIs to legacy systems. You can have an old mainframe system, which you never want to touch, but you might want to pull data from it, where you can build an API, build a custom connector, and call that as part of a field or a page inside Power Apps. So you have a lot of flexibility for even what I call a refresh of an old legacy application, where you can build a new fresh UI on top using custom connectors. And then obviously business logic, where you simply build Azure Functions. You can register them with API management, which we're going to cover in a bit. There's a lot of reasons why we think that's a great idea. But obviously also you can connect to data storage, as well as look at AI and bots, etc. So there's lots of great scenarios for building custom logic in Azure. The scenario looks the same. You have Git and Visual Studio on one side. You leverage your Azure services, build APIs, and you register them with the Power Platform and share with your pro developers. And Virgin Atlantic is an enterprise that has done a lot of work there, where they really did all the heavy lifting of creating building blocks in Azure that would then allow the business users to very quickly build and deploy line of business applications on their own. So a very powerful use case there of kind of this fusion team where you have pro developers and citizen developers working together. So when we look at that life cycle or process flow, again, you can build either as an ASP.NET or an Azure function. Then you can import that API, build an API, import it into API management. Then you can export that to Power Platform, build a custom connector, and expose it like you see here. And we'll show that in a demo in a little bit for consumption. Now, that has been workflow we have done to date. But we have a new, very exciting announcement to make today, which is that we will be supporting natively API management as a connector in the Power Platform. So what does that really mean? It means essentially that we are eliminating the step where once you register an API with APIM and you export it into Power Platform and you go now and create a custom connector, that step for creating the custom connector has been completely removed. So what happens is you publish an API to APIM, you export to Power Apps or Power Platform. The second you do, it will just show up magically inside Power Apps and Power Automate for consumption. With that, let's take a look at what that process really looks like.
In the demo, I will use the same scenario we used in the keynote, but here we have the possibility to go a little bit deeper and focus on the API management integration. So for those of you who were not able to attend the keynote and dial in, I want to set a little bit of context. So it's really focused on Toyota Motor North America and the quality control they are having for serving their customers. So essentially, they have 1,500 dealers throughout North America who is serving all their customers. They have hundreds of Power Apps. I'm going to focus on one very specific one, which is centered around vehicle delivery quality. So let's say you're a customer and you've purchased a vehicle with Toyota. You have some accessories that comes with the vehicle from the manufacturer, and then you might order some additional accessories. Now, they have a Power App today. Let's say before I start integrating and extending it with ProDev capabilities, they still have a powerful app. So they have an application here where the field rep that they are sending out to inspect the vehicle after the dealership has installed the accessories, but before the customer picks it up. They have this application, a Power App, where they can go and list what the accessories are and make sure the right ones are installed. So in this case, before it's extended, I can go when I'm in front of a car, I can go and select it. Let's say I'm in front of a Toyota Highlander. Now, next, I can go and select accessories, and I'll select all the accessories that come standard with this vehicle. And after that, I'll go and select the accessories that the customers say they have ordered. Now, this first part of it, where they select a car and the default accessories, they want to have a much higher accuracy for. So instead of having the field rep manually enter them, they want to actually look up the very specific accessories that is associated with the VIN of a car through some integration. And to do this, they created a custom API. And so why did they create a custom API? Well, we do have a lot of connectors in Power Platform, but we for sure do not have a connector to the very specific Toyota logistics system. And that is really the power of custom connectors, being able to, when we do not have connectors, that you are able to go and create your own, either calling an API or create an API if there isn't one, which is the case in this this scenario. So with a team of pro developers at Toyota, this was actually pretty simple to do. It's a very simple request. It's GET, taking the VIN number and the model and looking up the accessories in the Toyota logistics system. Now, all I need to go do is publish this API, and I'm publishing it as an Azure function. Now, behind the scenes, I didn't go through this. After the function published, I went ahead and registered that with API management. I can either import it, but I did that already. The reason I'm registering with APIM is for a few good reasons that hopefully you'll see in a minute. But first of all, I really like the idea of having one central location where I can govern and manage not just this API, but all of the APIs that's available, that has been created by the pro developers and are available for consumption, not just in Power Apps, but potentially in many different applications. So once it's registered, I can go in and manage. For example, I can define policies. I can go in here and say, what are all the different policies that I want to create? Let's say it's a legacy system, which is not the case here. But if it was, and I wanted to go ahead and, for example, reduce API latency, very powerful to go in and create caching. What I really want to do, though, is I want to go test the API that I built just to make sure it's functional. So I'm going to enter the VIN number and the model. So I'm going to choose the Highlander again. And voila, immediately the response come back. You can see it's Toyota Highlander 2020, and it's listing all the accessories that comes with this VIN from the manufacturer. So this is the exact information we want the field rep to have when they're scanning the VIN on the car versus having to enter all of this manually. Now, before I go there, so the real another benefit, obviously, from API management and why you want to register your APIs there is the deep integration we have with the Power Platform. And this control you have probably seen before if you have worked with the Power Platform as a pro developer, which is really the ability to publish an API into Power Platform. But this button, with the announcements we are making today, is so much more magical than what it used to be. So essentially, I go here and I publish my API into my target environment in Power Platform. And now I can navigate back into Power Apps once it has been published. Now, instead of going and creating a custom API, it will actually just show no manual steps at all. The second I, as a pro developer, publish my API that is backed by APIM into Power Platform, it will show as a APIM connector directly in Power Apps. So as a pro developer, now I do not have to go the additional step, which I can actually show you what that looks like, what we have eliminated. So before, when I published the APIM or API through APIM, I would go to my data sources, custom connector, and I would go ahead and create a new custom connector where I can call Azure services. This is super powerful as well, and you might continue to use this. I'll give it a name. I'll choose the subscription. And I could obviously also call logic apps and functions directly, but in this case, I would pick API management and the logistics system, where you can see the API right there. Now, when I do that, it would show under my connectors as a custom connector. But this whole step of creating a custom connector is what we have essentially eliminated with this new function of more natively treating APIM as a core part of the platform. So essentially, as a citizen developer, I just go to Power Apps and I'll see the connector here as an APIM connector. Now, all I need to go do, either as a pro developer or the citizen developer, I'll just choose the scanner. And you can see here how I have hooked up the API to call the Toyota logistics system and call the accessories. Now, if I want to go ahead and test this application, all I have to go do is click scan. Let's imagine I'm actually in front of a vehicle and scan the VIN. And with no manual entry, it calls up the logistics system directly and show all the accessories that comes with this vehicle from the factory. And I can now go ahead and confirm. So hopefully this is exciting for you as well. It's really a lot of steps, the manual steps we eliminate. And the whole key is that you as a professional developer living in Azure can go ahead and publish as soon as your APIs are ready for broad consumption. You can push them into Power Apps, and with no additional manual effort, they will show up in there for your citizen developers to go use. With that, let's go back to the slides. That whole scenario for taking an API connector and consuming it in Power Apps, we are making available also inside teams. So you may have heard of Project Oakdale, which is really Power Apps and Power Automate available in the context of teams. And once you have an app running in the context of teams, the API management connector will be available directly in there for users to use as well. But what is more important here is, as before, there's no creation of the custom connector, but there's also no premium licenses required. So as long as you run in context of teams, the users consuming the applications will have no additional licenses required. So what we're doing here is really taking this remote platform concept of allowing citizen developers to build apps in context of teams and extending that to our pro developer audience, which is very, very cool. So now you have this full cliff extensibility model in context of teams without even triggering any additional licensing requirements. So a very powerful way to get your skills and your task and your application amplified. Now, the last topic here of the presentation is obviously around managing and automating the application lifecycle, because that is obviously a very key aspect for you as a pro developer. And for that, we have full support for Azure DevOps. So we have a range of build tasks allowing you to automate the full process from initiate and getting started building environment and move your solutions through the entire process from dev test and to production. So we have full support for that. But what we are also announcing today is very exciting, that we are releasing for GitHub. So the same capabilities you have with Azure DevOps, you will now have available with Git Actions, and that will be available as well on the marketplace. One more announcement, which is a GitHub connector. What that really allows you to do is, if you want to collaborate with your citizen developers, you can use the connector to build a Power App, essentially to allow your citizen developers to request the building of a new project. Once they do, behind the scenes, we're actually provisioning a new environment, a dev environment that is being backed
by GitHub, allows the user to develop the solution. Once they're developed, they can say deploy, and that is now being deployed to the downstream test environment and further on to prod. So very exciting because it allows you to really build the gravity around these Fusion teams where you can have the citizen developer collaborate with you on kind of a source code backed solution, which otherwise they just may not be able to do because it's not a concept that they necessarily want to go and spend the time even understanding. So here you see a screen of that. Super, super exciting and very lightweight of bringing these Fusion team capabilities to your organization. So again, collaboration is success. Think about Fusion teams. Think about what are the components you can build. How can you empower the citizen developer? And how can you look at the Power Platform as a way to really accelerate your application development process inside your enterprise? We have many kind of center of excellence teams operating across many different organizations. There are some examples here. And a center of excellence can be everything from development teams, but also for governance and security. So they take many forms. The key is really to center yourself around collaboration. So here's the last slide with some resources, a free developer community plan if you want to go try out the Power Platform if you haven't done so already. There's a forum for asking questions and some resources to additional learning material. Again, at the end, thank you so much for your time. There's so much exciting work happening from a pro developer perspective on the Power Platform. Highly encourage you to go try it out if you haven't already. And if you have and you have questions, you want to see us where we should invest, please do feel free to reach out, connect with us so we can learn kind of where you would like us to see investing as well. Thank you so much for your time.